What's up, everyone? The nominations have been made and the high roller room has been opened and the BB books have been dished out. But who did they go to and who is now in a power position in the house? We've got so much to talk about, so welcome to your live feed update. First things first, folks, I want to ask you guys a question. So obviously things kind of blew up at the end of the week last week, and a lot of people who were in a really good position in the house are kind of not as much in that good position as they were before. So I've got to ask you folks, who do you think is currently in the best position in the house? That can be who is playing the best game or who is playing in the best position in the house, is sitting in a really good position. Let me know in the comment section below. I'm very intrigued, especially after all the dynamics that happened towards the end of last week, the shift in dynamics. I'm very intrigued to see what everybody's thinking, is who is in the best position at this point right now in the house. So first things first, let's talk about Karls Nominations. Okay, so there was a lot of rigmarole before the nomination ceremony. I'm pretty sure the house guests were up till about 5 or 6 a.m. discussing who was going to go up, and Kyland was trying to find somebody who'd volunteer as a pawn. The names of Claire were thrown around, Brittany, Alyssa, Big D, Arza. It was just many names getting thrown around, but eventually the nominations were settled, and when the feeds came back, Kyland has decided to nominate this week Claire and Big D. He has nominated them for eviction. It is kind of unclear who the target is at this point, because so many different people want different things, and Kyland hasn't exactly made it clear on who he is actually targeting this week. It seemed to be Claire at one point, but it seems a majority of the house are pushing for Sarah Beth to be the target, but obviously Kyland isn't going to do that because, you know, they are like that. There's no way he's going to put Sarah Beth on the block. She's worked Kyland, and Kyland's not going to do that. It's just, he's not going to do it. So Claire and Big D are on the block. Okay, so one point the idea of backdooring Alyssa was thrown around. That kind of shifted out pretty quickly, and then the idea of getting Brittany out was thrown around. So Brittany or Claire, I would say, is likely going to be the target at this point. Definitely subject to change, and obviously we've got the high roller room to talk about, which of course has thrown a monkey wrench in the works. So let's get to talking about who actually won the BB books in the high roller room. Now, while we can't officially confirm who has the BB books, we can only go off word of mouth from the house guests. Obviously, some are more believable than others when it comes to Big Brother, who you can believe what comes out their mouth. But folks, it seems to be, this is like, I would probably say the closest we're going to get to an actual answer, and I would say it's about accurate. The people who have the Big Brother books are as follows. Okay, so with 100 Big Brother books, we have Big D, Derek X, and Tiffany. With 75 Big Brother books, we have Xavier, Hannah, and Brittany, and the rest of the house guests remain with 50 Big Brother books. So a huge congratulations to those who got 175 each respectively. I would say Big D is sitting in the money this week. The fact he's on the block and he's got his 100, it's going to look good for him. Claire, on the other hand, with the 50, bit of a shame. Obviously, I'm a bit crushed there. I was hoping she'd get some, but, you know, she's a fighter. Claire's a fighter. She's going to be able to do what she has to do. And to be fair, as I said, the target seems to be shifting left, right, and centre this week, so it's kind of an unpredictable one as to where it's going to go, which can be a good thing or a bad thing, unpredictability. Who knows in the game of Big Brother? That's literally what unpredictability is. Expect the unexpected. But there you go, folks. That's about as accurate as we're going to get for now as to who has got the Big Brother books. Now, this is where things get really interesting, folks, because with the high roller room, as it's obviously a very production-led thing, we can't confirm nor deny what's going on until we actually see the episode. So it seems as though what's happened is there's some kind of second veto that's in play this week. So what we can assume, I would say the safest thing we can put our bets on, literally, is that the house guests will be betting on who is going to win the power of veto. They can put a certain amount of BB books on, and I think maybe, you know, whoever gets it right receives an extra veto, or, you know, whoever obviously has the highest stake and gets it correctly, if they want to bet on the veto, that is, would also receive a veto. So I would say that's, don't hold me to that, do not hold me to that, folks, but I would say it sounds about accurate from the way people were talking, because the way they were talking about a second veto made it kind of sound like it was betting, and it would add up. You know, it's Vegas, the high roller room, and the veto, second veto, you know, it would add up totally. But I feel like that's going to really add an extra layer of duplicity to the game, which I am very excited to see. I think in a week like this as well, throwing a second veto in the game is, it's exciting. It's exciting stuff, because in a week where, you know, things are so up in the air and who's going to be the target, throwing a second veto in there could literally, who knows what's going to happen. I mean, heck, it could be one of those situations where both, you know, Claire and Big D get off the block by the end of the week, and then Kyland's had to nominate 4 people in 1 week, which will be crazy and do horrific damage to his game. I saw a bunch of people talking about on Twitter, and I kind of have to agree with it. I would say it's safe to say at this point, that when the cookout, or if the cookout gets down to the final 6, Kyland will be the first to go of the 6 because he's probably annoyed the most people being so pally-pally with Sarah Beth. Everybody else in that 6, I mean, Hannah, who's been extremely tight with Derek X, has shown that she's willing to let Derek X go. Tiffany's ready to let Claire go. Everybody who is joined with someone is ready to let them go. Apart from Kyland, who is just Sarah Beth, Sarah Beth, Sarah Beth, Sarah Beth, Sarah Beth, and that's getting annoying for the other 5. So yes, they're going to stick with him for a while, but when it gets down to 6, they'll be like, I'll see you later, Kyland, you've also won 2 head of households. And it could be 3 or 4 by the time they get to the final 6. Heck, it could be 5. Who knows? It's just, you know, he needs to tone it down and work on his social game a lot more, because you guys have seen me talk about how Kyland has been in my opinion, one of the best positions, if not the best position in the house. When he rose to power as the head of household, and the following week after that and the week after that, he was in a brilliant position, and then he really damaged it over the past couple of weeks. So if anything this week, he should be using his power to gain better standing, like he did in that bridge over from week 1 to week 2 to week 3. He put himself into a prime position in the house, and he knows how to do it. He's done it before, so we can do it again. Come on, Kyland, get your head in the game. Tiffany and Xavier are led to believe that Brittany has 100 BB bucks, but we are convinced it's 75. So they are trying to basically pin something on Brittany and kind of go, it's not going to do us any favours to take Claire out this week. We need to take Brittany out because with more BB bucks that she has, the more damage she can do to the cookout. And in my opinion, if any 2 people can come together in this house to do horrific social damage, horrific in a good way, they could get it done, it's Tiffany and Xavier. Yes, we've got some power players in there like Hannah and Derek X and Claire. I think they're all brilliant socially, but if 2, and I would say more physically as well sometimes with those guys and strategically, but joined together strategically and socially, Xavier and Tiffany could blow the hell out of this game. And if they want to send Brittany home this week rather than Claire, I strongly believe that they could get that done. Not saying I'm happy about that, because I really do like Brittany, but you all know I like Claire as well, so it's a fine line. But listen, personal feelings aside, I'm just respecting game right now and saying that if anybody can get this job done, it's Xavier and Tiffany. Now, not only this second veto is going to be the power that's in play, of course we've seen in previous years when we've seen the Big Brother power apps and etc. That was obviously Big Brother 20. That's crazy. That's 3 seasons ago now. It's nuts to think about. I feel like I'm getting old. No, I'm joking. But listen, folks, there's always more than one power. There's going to be several that are going to go into play. And I find this really, really exciting because I love what the cookout are doing. Y'all have seen me express my feelings there. I love how they're sort of saying, it's bigger than any one of us. Great. But what I don't like often in Big Brother, and this isn't, any feelings of other than just how I like the game played, it's that I don't like dominant alliances, and I know generally Big Brother fans don't like a dominant alliance. So I love what the cookout's message is and their mission statement, but I don't like a dominant alliance. So to see powers getting thrown in play would probably create for more of mayhem for the end game, which I am very excited for. I think the more powers that happen, the dominant alliance, or the people who are playing dominantly, because I can't even call Kyland a dominant player. Yes, he's in the dominant alliance, but I don't even think he's playing dominantly anymore. The more dominant players, including people who are outside the cookout, Derek X, I think can blow things up and really not necessarily do you know what? Yeah, I'll say it, change the course of the game, because that's what powers do. That's what big moves do. Derek X made a big move last week by sending Christian out. That changed things up. But again, people are going to start to realise, I would imagine people on the outside of the cookout are quickly going to start to realise they're picking us off one by one, and then they'll put their heads together, and then one person will go, okay, I'm telling you guys, I've got this power. Then this other person will go, I've got this power. Let's put these powers together and we can make a catastrophic move that is going to help us get to the end rather than getting picked off. It really can change up the game, and I love me a power in Big Brother. That is all of your live feed updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you happy that the nominees are Claire and Big D? Who would you like to see evicted this week? Do you think Kyland's doing a good job as head of household? Are you happy that these people won the BB books? Let me know all your thoughts, guys, in the comment section below. I'd love to hear how you're all feeling. But, guys, I really appreciate every single last one of you for watching. It really means the world to me. As I've said, I think I said it in yesterday's video, views have been up this week, which, I can only send love to you all for that. I just appreciate it a ton. I love doing these videos anyway, however many views I get, it just fills me with joy and happiness and excitement, and I just love doing it, and I love chatting with all you guys as well in the comment section, seeing what you folks think. It's just great to, talk amongst other Big Brother fans. Speaking of which, guys, I do tweet about everything on Twitter. So I've got my handles up there. I have them on every single video anyway, so I'm sure you've seen me showing them off. But folks, you can see anything I put on there on my Twitter, so you can, and my Instagram's up there as well if you want to check that out. But folks, I'm going to stop advertising my social media handles now and sign off this video as I always do. Make sure that you're all staying safe, staying positive, and staying healthy out there, and be kind to one another. But in the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. But until your next live feed update, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.